Here we go again, no compression. This happened before, and wherever that link goes, I'll put one to the last video I did on this. But it was the intake valve seat had come loose. Apparently these engines, these Briggs and Stratton 7.25 are notorious for that, because it took very little effort to find over a dozen videos of this same problem and the same fix I'm using. I did say this is a temporary fix, but I got a few ideas in the comments and from some of the other videos about how to make this better. So first, I'm going to tear it down. If you need the tank out of the way, but you don't need to actually remove it, you can leave this bolt in place and the tank will pivot back on it. I think it's a terrible design that this plate that holds the carburetor on also uses one of the cylinder head bolts, which means you can't take the cylinder head off without dealing with this. But I'm going to try something. One of the other YouTubes I saw was able to slide it out from underneath without taking this off, but I think there's 3 bolts, one here, and one here, and I think if I just loosen them a little bit, that'll let me slide the cylinder head off without having to take it completely off. I'm just loosening up the ones that hold the carburetor, and hopefully all right, let's see if this works. Can I remove the cylinder head? Yes. And there's our problem. There is one suggestion I'm going to try, and use a little bit of Loctite red to get the valve seat to seal. Maybe some on the valve seat itself. I'm probably going to regret this, because the Loctite's going to make it impossible to undo later when I figure out my screw up. I'm going to do this sparingly, well, that's why I'm using a toothpick, because I don't need it oozing out. And obstructing the airflow. So when I did my research, Loctite red holds up to 450 degrees, and from everything I could find online, the cylinder head stays no more than about 250 degrees, so it ought not to get hot enough to break down the Loctite. But that's not going to be the only thing I do here. Alright, so we're going to try and get this back in position. open it up and let the valve, and then I've got this perfect sized piece of wood. I can use carefully the valve and drive it back in. And here's my bozo moment. The piston's not at top dead center between the compression stroke and the power stroke. This engine has an easy start which does not completely close the intake valve until the engine is spinning faster than the pull rope speed. So I'm not going to be able to get this valve seat all the way in. Yeah, I know I'm risking bending the valve. There goes the O-ring for the carburetor. That's as far in as this is going to go. The other thing I'm going to try, the other YouTube videos that I saw do this, their peens around the seat were much more aggressive, so I'm going to be a little more aggressive with mine. All right, let's put it back together. And trying to do this without taking the carburetor off, and the O-ring fell out. So now I do have to pull the carburetor back more and slip the O-ring back in place. Tighten that one up. And now the O-ring can go over and around the intake. And then remount the carburetor. A little bit of bonus footage. This has been sitting for quite a while, so I do want to pull the bowl and the jet off the carburetor and make sure they're clean. Yep, that's clogged up. This is just a E string from a guitar. Okay, so an E string to break it up, and then a little bit of carb cleaner to make sure it's all flushed out. She's ready to go.
I failed. The lawnmower is still broken, but I'm not giving up. Stay tuned. Part 2, I'm going to try it again. This is Steve from Workbench-Z. Go have fun with your tools.
Hold on it.